Hey, thanks for stopping by. Robert Kofed with Computer Creations, and today we've got a real treat. I've invited Joe Spanier from LightBurn Software to come talk to us a little bit about the upcoming event LBX 2025. It's right around the corner. It's going to be held July 19th and 20th, and the ticket cutoff is June 15th. So I wanted to get this video out to you guys. So just in case you were thinking about going, but you weren't sure and you needed a little bit more information, that Joe could kind of share what he's got planned and what they're going to do and how easy it is to get to and just all those logistical kind of things. And that way we can answer some of the questions that you might have.
Yeah.
I have the privilege of speaking on Sunday, the 20th at 11 a.m. on the second floor, and I'm going to be covering how to make jigs with LightBurn. Just a few comments about that. If you don't know how to make a jig and you're using LightBurn and you're growing as a business, learning and understanding how to make a jig can really ramp up your ability to create a lot more products in a very short amount of time. And so I'm going to show you how to make jigs. I've got a bunch of different examples of existing jigs that I use on a daily basis. And before you know it, you're going to be able to do that too. So there is so many incredible classes that are going to be held the 19th and 20th that I wanted to make sure that Joe talks a little bit about those because, man, I tell you, the last one that I went to, in all honesty, I came away with some lifelong friends. The acquaintances that I made during this last LBX was just incredible. Even if I wasn't speaking, I would still go just for the experience, for the connections, and the great content that they have. So, Joe, if you please introduce yourself and let's talk about LBX 2025.
Yeah. So my name is Joe Spanier. I am the vendor relations lead at LightBurn Software. So I sit on the dev team and I help work with our hardware manufacturers to make sure that they are getting the best support that we can provide. And also I work on doing stuff like this. I was the I don't know, the driving force behind the first LBX. And now we have a whole team working on this and building out great events. And I'm really glad you brought up the connections and relationships you made during the first one, because that is exactly what my goal was for the first event. I'm sitting in the job I have today because of going to events like this and meeting the people that are passionate about the same things that I'm passionate about. It is an event like this that I met Jason at and was able to turn that into a job that I love and I'm super passionate about. So it's really very rewarding to hear you mention that the biggest thing you took away was the people you met and the relationships you made. We've had a lot of people ask us why LBX isn't an online event, or we don't encourage that. And it's because of the connections that people make at these in-person events that we want to really encourage. We want to build a community of laser creators that can depend on each other and ask each other questions and drive the community and this hobby forward, drive their businesses forward. So
Yeah,
that's our really biggest goal.
yeah, I will tell you, Joe, there is a handful, maybe four or five people that I met at LBX. Um, and in all honesty, some of those people are my go-to people. If I run into a situation where I need a little help on maybe how to approach a project, or maybe I haven't done it before, but I know they have, and
Yeah.
it's a quick message, and boom, I've got the information. And just to have those kind of resources that you didn't have before you went to LBX is is worth the time invested. And like I said, it's so well. Think about it. You're in a room full with hundreds of like-minded people, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to talk about software. You're going to talk about lasers. That's the other beautiful thing about this event. Talk a little bit. You're going to have a big vendor show, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so we have just under 20 sponsors that are coming. So some really big names: Eon, Thunder, We've got Xtool is going to be there. Creality is going to be there. Rolly and XL Laser will be there with their new machines.
All right.
If you guys have seen the hybrid Galvo gantry
Right.
systems that just got announced, both of those systems will be there. So you can touch them, play with them, watch them do their crazy movements. Um, and, just an onslaught of super talented individuals showing what they're making, talking about what they're making, and you'll have access to all of us. I don't know if you had the experience, Robert, of hanging out with any of the Lightburn people at the show and bringing up a problem or something that was stumping you
Yeah.
and watching them live fix the software on the show floor.
Yeah.
But
That was a
there
fact.
were,
Yeah. Yeah. I had a
yeah,
variable text issue that we worked through right there. And within 2 weeks after the LBX had closed, it was fixed and it was no, there wasn't a problem. So the beautiful thing about that you get to see when you experience something like this is there's always somebody in the room that's going to know the answer to your question.
yeah,
And I met so many people that were frustrated because they had this little piece that they couldn't figure out in Lightburn. And after talking to a few people, bang, they got their answer. And then they started to enjoy it because that was the thing that was standing on them to be able
yeah,
to go forward and grow as a laser operator. And it's one of those deals where we all know how frustrating it is when you have a problem and you can't find the answer to it and you don't know how to deal with it. It's very frustrating.
yeah. And like being able to connect with those people, and we run into a lot when we go to shows like this. We learn how people are using our software, and often it's in unexpected ways for us, and it turns into conversations of like, well, I never really thought about somebody going about it like that. If I made this tweak, that would make that easier, and that's a totally legitimate workflow. We had a lot of conversations like that at the first one, and we have 3 sessions that are effectively live Q and A's. We've got 2 dev panels where we will talk about what we're doing in development, how we're doing it, and then you can ask questions of the devs. And then we have a live Lightburn Q and A session, which is purely an entire 45 minutes where a bunch of us are on stage and you guys can rapid fire questions at us, and we'll walk you through how it works or why it doesn't work, or maybe we should do that. That's a good idea.
Yeah,
And those are our favorite sessions because they're a lot of fun to do.
sure.
So,
And you're in the audience going, I didn't know a Lightburn did that. Right?
oh, one of our most popular sessions the first year was a live Lightburn tips and tricks session, and I think Adam will be doing that again this year. And it was just 45 minutes of, did you know you could do this? And that was really fun to watch faces light up, and it was also very fun to sit in the background and heckle Adam, and because as somebody who works on the software every day, some of his things I was like, hey, did you know you could also do it this way? And we're always teaching each other things, and that should make you guys as users feel better, because even though we work on the software every day, we build the software every day, we're
Yeah.
always teaching each other new ways of going about things or new ways to think about a problem. There's no such thing as mastering a software like Lightburn or Photoshop or
Well, and then
AutoCAD
you
or
have new products coming on all the time that you've got to, adjust the software for. So it's a never-ending
yeah.
process, right?
Yeah, so we've got Lightburn 2.0 coming, which will be a massive launch, and just how we work with machines, and just so many new features are getting added. And we also have our CNC router software that will be launching shortly after. We hope, we really hope. That is, we'll be demoing at the show. My talk will actually be demoing Milmage,
Oh,
and
nice.
how the workflow changes from Lightburn, and how we're working forward to do CNC routers better.
Yeah. A lot of people are
So,
anxiously awaiting that.
so are we. So there's a lot of cool stuff going into it, and the software is really great.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I
We
use it every day, all day, and I love it. And like I said, in that last tips and tricks deal that you guys did in the last LBX, like I said, I do. I use it every day, and I still learn something. So
Yeah,
it's one of those deals where I don't care who you are or how much you use it. There's always opportunity for growth there. There's just no doubt
yeah,
about it. And so I appreciate that. Let's talk a little bit about now you're going to have 2 full days where you're going to have speakers from what 9 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock at
yep,
night, and you got 3 different sessions going pretty much all the time for the 2 days. So there's a
yep,
huge number of speakers and different content, and so even if you go just to get one or two of those things, and then you can look at the vendor fair, and there's going to be places to gather where you can sit down and chat with people,
yeah,
just to make connections. So
yeah.
that's good.
There will be stuff going on pretty much every minute of every day for 2 days straight.
Gotcha.
After the show, we'll have a networking session on Saturday night for ticketed attendees, where we'll just all gather downstairs in the vendor fair area, and hang out and talk to all the people that you met, ask questions of the staff. Staff will ask you questions of how you do things, because that's one of our biggest goals of this is to get the user experience and how we can make things better for you guys. And people love to tell us it's great. Uh,
I can
so
only imagine.
yeah, it's going to be 2 days of just brain filling amounts of information, um, and yeah. This year we will have class signups. So the schedule is available now, and when you sign up for a ticket, you can sign up for the classes that you're attending. So you could get a little bit better of an idea of like what your schedule will end up being for the show versus last year. That was a big takeaway we had last year. And this year we have better class descriptions, so people are knowing what they're getting into a little
Yeah.
bit better. That was another big takeaway from the previous year.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, yeah.
Well, that's good. Let's talk a little bit about price. So it's 150 for the 2 days, but that also gives you a year's worth of LightBurn. So in reality, you're going to the event for, 50 bucks if you're having to buy the LightBurn core, or you're saving money if you have to buy the
But
Pro. So it's an incredible value when you think about that.
it comes with the LightBurn renewal. So
Gotcha.
the expectation is if you're coming, you probably already have a key,
Right.
but we want you to have the latest version, so you get a free renewal with your ticket. So you're
Then you're
saving,
at the most latest.
yeah, yeah. So you're
Gotcha.
saving $30 on your renewal, but you get a T-shirt, you get a badge, you get some swag, and you get a huge amount of information. And we also have a $25 off coupon code that we gave Robert to put in the video description. So it'll be 125 if you watch this and use that coupon code. And uh, we also have, for $200, we have a vendor fair. So if you're thinking that you want to learn some stuff, but you also want to sell some stuff, and you're in the New York area, we have a 2 day vendor fair that is co-located with all of our sponsors that we would love to have you at. Our main requirement for being in the vendor fair is you have to make the stuff that you sell. So if you are a laser crafter, 3D printer crafter, do CNC stuff, we're really focused on digital fabrication made goods for the show. But if you make your stuff that you would like to sell, we'd love to have you at the Laser Craft uh, fair. And yeah,
Joe, is that going the same time that's the same Saturday and Sunday? So
same
that
Saturday and Sunday.
so it's all
And
it's all going together, right?
yep. And to walk in and see the Laser Craft Fair and see all of our sponsor area, that is free. So if you're in the area and you just want to go check out some laser made stuff and maybe run into some people in the crowd, that portion is free to attend. And then all the classes are ticketed.
Great.
So
Well, yeah, yeah. I know that you guys are getting close on your maximum amount. So if you're thinking about going, get on to laserburnsoftware.com. Right at the very top, they've got their banner going. Click on that. You can jump in there, buy your tickets, and you'll be ready to go. And I would love to see you there. I last LBX, I couldn't. I was amazed at how many of my subscribers I met at the last LBX. And I, number one, appreciate everybody that subscribes to my channel. As you well know, most of my content is LightBurn and laser related. And so if you can make it, I think that would be a fantastic opportunity for you. Lots to see, lots to learn. And
yeah,
man, I think it's going to be a great event.
yeah. And one of the hesitations that I think people have had about the event this year is just New York City in general is kind of a big scary beast if you've never been there. I myself went there for the first time in November this year and generally had a really great time. I was blown away at how easy the city was to navigate. If you've got a smartphone, you know how to get around the city. Google Maps and Apple Maps is incredibly detailed in the city. The subway is really, really easy to navigate, especially if you have Google or Apple Pay on your phone. You can just literally tap your phone and walk onto the subway. And all of that is navigatable through Google Maps. I was kind of blown away at how easy the city was to navigate compared to how I had it built up in my head. We've got 3 international airports that are right near the event, and about 30 hotels, which are within just a couple minute walk of the event center. So navigating the city and getting your stuff to your hotel is all much easier than I anticipated as a small town Midwesterner guy. A lot of people at the original LBX were like, why this tiny town in the middle of Illinois? You know why? Because I put it together, and that's where I live. And it was easier to do it there. And this year we picked a little bit bigger city. It's closer to HQ, and a lot of our employees in the U.S. are East Coast, Northern East Coast based. So we moved it up there, hoping that it would make it a little bit easier for international visitors because we had quite a few international people from the first one. We had, I think, like 9 or 10 different countries: Australia, New Zealand, Jamaica, Belgium, South Africa. We had a few people from China come over. It was pretty incredible. The UK, how many people made it to Peoria, Illinois for our event. So we were hoping to make it a little bit easier on them, having especially JFK and LaGuardia airports
Yeah.
easily available, and taking a taxi from there to uh, the hotel areas is a little bit time consuming because New York traffic, it does exist, but it's not terrible. And then after that, there's tons of great food, lots of great parks. There's like Union Square, and the Chelsea area is really, really fun. The Chelsea Market. Um, there's just so much neat stuff within about 10 minutes of where we're having it, just walking. Um, and the city's just so easy to get around. I was really kind of shocked about it when I went in November. So
Yeah,
I am looking forward to going back and looking forward to hosting the show.
that's great to hear. My wife and I are going to come in a couple of days early just to do that. Just since we're in New York, I've never been.
Yeah,
And so we're going to kind of take in the city for a couple of days just because we're going to be there already. And and I really appreciate you mentioning about, that it's not far to walk, it's safe to do so. For us small town people that think New York City, we have this preconceived idea in our head and it's
yeah,
probably not accurate, right? So,
yeah, yeah. It's big scary city the way movies and everything portrays it, and
right.
it was just so easy and welcoming. Everybody I met was super cool and very nice. Everywhere I went, I was only I joked with my friends, I was only perceived when I wanted to be. If
Ah,
I wanted to talk to somebody, they were happy to talk to me. If I didn't want to talk to somebody, they were happy to go back to whatever it is they were doing.
gotcha.
Um, and as a connoisseur of adorable dogs, there are adorable dogs everywhere in the city. Every
Oh,
single person is
my wife will
walking.
be in heaven.
Yes, every person, it seemed like, was walking a dog that was just very cute and wanted to be pet. It was great. So yeah.
Well, good deal. Well, Joe, I really appreciate your time today. Like I said, I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew what was going on and that time was
Yeah.
growing short. And anything else you think we need to cover?
Like, um, if you're on the fence about it, definitely go look at our speaker list. A lot of our speakers also have great YouTube libraries. So if you like watching them on YouTube, you're going to love being able to meet them and hear them talk. If you want to come gripe at us about something, doing it in person is the best way to get our attention. Um, I had some I had someone ask me if somebody was videotaping a talk, and she was like, "Well, you know, if they were able to videotape it, why did I come here?" And it's like, "Well, you came for the privilege of getting to complain to me about this feature you didn't like earlier today." Um, you know, it, we take that stuff to heart. Um, we like hearing the good experiences and we like hearing the bad
Yeah.
experiences and
Well,
being
that's
able
what
to
makes the
have the
software great, right? I mean,
yeah.
it's,
uh, Lightburn is it's kind of one of those things people say it's like for us by us. Lightburn is was made first and foremost as a hobby by a hobby laser user.
right.
All of us came from this world where we built these machines for fun or we built these machines with a purpose, and then we started working on them because we were interested in it. This has been a I don't know, a venture of interest more than anything else for all of us.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that everybody's having a good experience. And if they're not having a good experience, we want to know why and how we can make it better. And having in person, um, you know, personalized events like this is how we have found is the best way to go about
Yeah.
it. So
I can only imagine you guys get a mountain of back feed, good and bad, right,
yeah,
during this event, and then you go back and kind of filter through it and chew on the bigger pieces and go from there. So it's
yeah,
important. It's important to grow the software and make it better and those kind of things. So it's a win-win for everybody, in my opinion.
yeah. So yeah. Well, we're
Okay.
looking forward to meeting everybody and showing off all the stuff we've been doing over the last year and a half. And can't wait. So,
Well, great, Joe. I sure appreciate your time today. And if you're thinking about going to Lightburn or LBX 2025, get on the website. I'll put a link in the description before. And as always, appreciate you hanging in there with me. Thanks, and have a great day.
thanks, guys. Keep making stuff.